there guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and in today's video, we are going to be continuing the series of Skylanders Showdown. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the facing off of Stink Bomb and Free Ranger. Free Ranger is one of my favorites. Stink Bomb is one of my favorites, was one of my favorites to play as. Both of them are very interesting characters. Now, at the very end, we will be examining the votes from last time and figuring out who from the last episode gets banished this episode, and we'll be once again taking a vote on the outcome of this particular Skylanders Showdown and see who gets to stay in the competition, Stink Bomb or Free Ranger. But for now, let's roll the rest of the actual show. So first up, let me give a little bit of background information on our first character today, Stink Bomb. Stink Bomb is, of course, of the Swap Force game, from the Swap Force game, and is a Swap Force character himself. He is like a skunk creature of the life element, and he is of the stealth movement type, which means he's very, very stealthy in the way he moves, hence the name of those movement type. His first ability is SKUNK-FU stars, and that just is his basic attack that lets him throw shurikens all over the battlefield, dealing moderate damage. His second ability is 1-inch palm. It delivers a palm strike that is essentially, just a forward punch that allows him to do damage to anything in front of him. Now, his third ability is Skunk Cloud, and that lets him go invisible and damage enemies with a cloud that follows behind him. And this also, makes him hidden and harder for enemies to actually hit. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of upgrades that are really important for fighting. First one is Sweeping Skunk-Fu, lets him throw shurikens in all directions, sort of a charged shot. Another important thing is going to be Skunk-Fu Shield, and that's going to let him create a shield with his shurikens and damage anyone who gets close to him. Another important upgrade is Sporting Stripes, that just increases his speed all around, makes him more mobile and agile, and also Stealth Skunk, which is going to make him very, very stealthy and much harder to hit because he'll remain invisible even after attacking. Now we're going to take a look at the other character in this episode, Free Ranger. Free Ranger is, of course, another Swap Force character from the Swap Force game. He's a chicken thunderbird sort of thing of the spin movement type and has all sorts of air and lightning type abilities and attacks with those gigantic things on his arms. I don't even know what those things are called, but he just bashes enemies over the head with those things and deals some pretty nice damage. Now, first up, his first ability is Stormblade Slash, and Stormblade Slash is what actually lets him attack with those things on his hands, and he can also shoot out gigantic wind things in front of him. His next ability, Eyes of the Storm, allows him to shoot a lightning bolt from his eyes, and it can hit an enemy and then chain to other enemies as well. Now, his third ability is going to be Ride the Wind, and that allows you to become a tornado and deal damage to enemies that are nearby. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at some of Free Ranger's more important upgrades. His first is GALE Slash, and that is what allows him to send out those bursts of air at the end of his melee attacks. It's basically a combo of sorts. Another important one is Slicing Storm. That allows him to charge his blades and then release for an awesome combo attack. Also important is the Storming Stormblades that allows him to attack with more powerful Stormblades and deal just a little bit extra damage, adding more power to all of his attacks. One of his important bottom paths is Lightning Nova, and that allows him to create a tornado, and when he creates a tornado, he sends a shock of lightning out around him and deals area of effect damage. Alright, so now you've sort of seen what both characters can do, both Stink Bomb and Free Ranger. I needed a little bit of a refresher course myself, actually. So, just to sort of talk about who would win, both of them are very strong characters. They're not the strongest characters probably out of the entire Swap Force, but they're both around the same power level, which is kind of interesting. Now, one thing that Stink Bomb is automatically going to have over Free Ranger is his ranged attacks. Obviously, he's going to be able to go and throw his shurikens at Free Ranger at distance. Now, Free Ranger does have a distance-based attack, which is his lightning zappy attack, but it's not going to be as high of a damage as Stink Bomb's shurikens being thrown out are. Now, of course, Free Ranger is going to have to get in there and actually, hit Stink Bomb. It's going to be very hard for Stink Bomb to get hit because he's so agile and can go invisible. And while granted, you can still see, I think, his eyes, I'm not sure how it works in PvP mode, if you can still see the eyes or not, but I do know for sure that it will make him a lot harder to track down as Free Ranger. So he's definitely going to be very elusive. Now, I picked Stink Bomb to have the ability that allows the shurikens to go around him, and that's because when Free Ranger does get near to Stink Bomb, he's going to want to have a defense against his close range, if that makes any sense. So when Free Ranger goes in to like dive on Stink Bomb will have sort of a rotating field to deal constant damage while Free Ranger is within melee range. Now, Free Ranger also has a little bit of mobility with his tornado, but I'm pretty sure that Stink Bomb will out-mobility him. So that's sort of an unbiased, factual look at both Stink Bomb and Free Ranger. So now it's up to you guys to determine who would win between Stink Bomb and Free Ranger. Tell me down in the comments, cast your vote now, and in the next episode, we'll look at the winner of the vote, and we will banish the loser, and the winner will move on in the competition. So now, let's look at the results from last episode. Well, last episode, it was a pretty one-sided battle. Night Shift had all but one vote. Washbuckler only got one vote. So, Washbuckler completely blown out of the water for Night Shift, mostly due to the fact that Night Shift had far more mobility, damage, and extra lives. So, you know, not too much of a reason, just the fact that he's better in every single way, in every form or fashion. Now, Washbuckler probably could have moved a little bit further in the competition had he not been faced up against Night Shift, who is probably one of the stronger characters from the Swap Force roster. So, you know, it's kind of unfortunate that he got paired up with such a strong character, being below average character himself. But anyways, Washbuckler is out, so that's pretty much it for last week. I'll be right back with the banishing, but I do want to say a couple words before we get to the banishing. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Skylanders Showdown. As I said earlier, be sure to vote on who you think won, Free Ranger or Stink Bomb. That's pretty much all for now. This has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Taken out by his own kind. Oh, the irony.